Unit 9, Lesson 6, and this is the last lesson for the Unit 9, Order of Operation with Integers. Um, the good news is the order of operations with whole numbers also apply to integers. The word also is very important here. That means what we learned already with whole numbers, it affect exactly, or it apply exactly to the integers, so there is nothing new. So if we go through the order of operations, we know BADMAS, the B perform operation in bracket first, so if you have any brackets in the operation, you do it first. Next, evaluate the exponent. If you have any exponent, you do it as a second. Then the third in the power is division or multiplication. Both they have the same level. Which one first? From left to right. So whatever you see in the left, you start with, and after that you go to the right. The same thing for addition and subtraction. They have the same level, but always we start from left to right. Why from left to right? Because when we write any English word, we start from left to right, so it's normal. And if we respect BADMAS, we will get like the best answer. There is a small note here, a fraction bar indicates divisions. What the meaning of that? You know there is a fraction bar. This acts as a division, and it also acts like brackets. So we need to evaluate the numerator and the denominator separately before dividing. So I'm going to give you an example. Let's say I have 12 plus 8 and as you can see, this is the fraction bar, or we call it division bar, and we will say 2 minus 6. So this division bar acts exactly like division. So do you think that we're gonna do 12 plus 8 divided by 2 minus 6? No. Actually we are saying what? We imagine that 12 plus 8 it's already in brackets. And why you imagine that? Because this division bar or fraction bar. And the same thing for the denominator, 2 minus 6, which means if we respect BADMAS, the B is bracket is number 1. So we start with the numerator, we work with the denominator, we find their value, and after that we switch the division bar as a division. So 12 plus 8, 20, division bar or fraction bar, 2 minus 6, negative 4. Now we transfer the division bar or the fraction bar to division, so that means 20 divided by negative 4. As you know from previous with integers, if I have a positive and negative, it's gonna lead to negative because the two signs are different. Then 20 divided by 4 equal 5. So this is the result of this small problems, 12 plus 8, and there is the division bar or the fraction bar, 2 minus 6. So I hope that you understood this one. Now let's take some examples. This is the first example. Example 1, it's saying evaluate 100 minus 3 open bracket 20 divide by small bracket negative 2 close the small bracket close the large bracket. Large bracket and small bracket, they have a different look. Why? Because we need to make it as a different. And the second thing, don't forget that this is exactly what we are getting in the integers with the signs. It's not a big deal if this one it's minus or negative, but between bracket this is a sign, so in this case it's gonna be negative 2. So let's take this one and we need to see how we can find the answer. So 100 minus 3 open bracket 20 divided by negative 2 close a bracket. So if I follow BADMAS, let's number first the operation. So here that bracket is very important, B. Someone will tell me, why this not a bracket? This is also a bracket. No, this bracket is for the sign only, so it's not like there is nothing as an operation in the middle. So that's why I take this one into consideration. So if this is number 1, because BADMAS give the bracket the first level, so we'll see what? 20 divided by -2. The 20 is positive, the -2 is negative, they have different sign. That means the answer is going to be negative. 20 divided by 2, it's -10. So all of that I can insert between brackets and leave the other as it is. So 100 minus 3, and the big bracket here I did it and it was -10. Let's go to the next level. And don't forget, try to, between bracket, explain to the teacher that you did the bracket operation. So this was number 1. Now I have what? Now I have the negative sign and I have the operation minus. And I have a hidden multiplication. So which one is a greater, multiplication or the subtraction? For sure multiplication is number 2. So I need to do multiplication. So that means 100. Now -3 multiply by -10. So negative and negative, they have the same sign, so it's gonna lead to plus 30. And between bracket, I'm gonna write multiplication. Multiplication, this was the operation that I did it for the second level. Then the last operation, as you can see, the addition. So 130 is my final answer, and I explained to the teacher that I understand that I did addition. So as you can see, 130 was the answer of the first example, number 1. Let's go to another example, example number 2. There is 2 problems. So let's start to write the first problem, number 1. It's 4 times, between bracket, -8 or -8, sorry, plus 2, and there is the fraction bar or the division bar over -6. So again, we said when we see any fraction bar, we imagine that the numerator is between bracket and the denominator between bracket. As you can see, the denominator, there is no big operations here, it's -6, so we'll leave it as it is, but we will put the first one into brackets to force us to work with the numerator first, and after that we go to the denominator and we do the division. So this one is gonna force us to work on the numerator first. What in the numerator? I have multiplication, I have addition. Which one is stronger? As you know, multiplication. So we'll start, we're gonna see this is equal to 4 times -8, which is -32, plus 2. I will leave everything between bracket because I didn't finish it, and -6. And I can write to the teacher that I did the multiplication first, because this is the most powerful one. Now I have the addition, so -32 plus 2, that means -30 over -6. So I did what? I did addition. This is what the operation that I did it. Excellent. Now I can imagine that this one, it's -30 divided by -6. I have what? The division. This is the only operation that I have. So I can see I'm gonna do the division, but don't forget that this is negative and negative, they have the same sign. That means the result is gonna be a +5. And this is my final answer, and don't forget to write what you did as an operation. It was division. So I am gonna write division. This was question number 1. Let's see question number 2. It's saying what? Question number 2. It's saying that 2 minus negative 3 and exponent 2. That means negative 3 square equal. Now, how many operations do I have? The first one, it was the subtraction. The second one is the exponent. Which one is more powerful? As you know, exponent. So let's start with the exponent. So I'm going to write 2 minus negative 3 times negative 3. When I time 2 with the same sign, that means negative and negative are the same sign, so it's going to be positive 9. So that means 9. And in between brackets, I'm going to write exponent. This is what I did first. 2 minus 9 equal negative 7. This is my final answer. And as you can see, the only operation that I have, it was the subtraction. So I'm going to write between brackets subtraction to show the teacher that this is the one that I'm doing right now. It was a subtraction. So as you can see, number 1 it was positive 5, number 2 it was negative 7. And with this lesson we finalized already unit 9. Congratulations, and we will try to work on the next unit in a few days after we do our quizzes. Thank you, and see you in the next lesson.